Hey everyone, it's Kelly from Speaker Insight here. It's our Facebook Lives on Tuesdays, which is welcoming everyone in. And actually today, Helena is going to be at the airport at the moment. So I'm just waiting for her to come online. And then as soon as she does, looks like she's here now, I'm just going to bring her on camera. My living room. And she'll be doing it from the airport, which is a great place to make connections. Here she is, ta-da, as if by magic. Welcome. So hi everybody. What we're going to be doing today is, because we've just been launched for a week and we've got already about 140 members, which was amazing. We want to really talk about the subject of connection because it's so important to us and to you, obviously. And we want to talk about it from a range of different aspects, really. Talk about it from you as a speaker, author, and coach, how you connect with your audience, but also how your audience connects to you and how you connect to the services that you need for your business. So, welcome, Helena.
Thank you. And I'm going to welcome Jason Rattle, which is a name I haven't seen in so long. Hi, Sargit, Brett, Ryan. It's beautiful. I can't mute Ryan because, unfortunately, I need to be speaking as well. So the joys and delights of connecting is that it happens wherever you happen to be. And today I happen to be in the joys and delights of Gatwick Airport, because I'm about to go and connect with two of the most special people in my world, my niece, Rebecca, who is turning 9, and my mother, who is turning 75. So part of connections, part of living, is actually that whole piece that, you know, we don't only work, we live too, and this happens to be where it's at. So I'm enjoying the connection time that's actually available through the medium of this gorgeous technology, and it allows us to play. So yeah, there you go.
So for you guys that aren't aware on Facebook Lives, that Facebook Live has now brought the technology in that you can actually add hosts to your screen for free. We used to have to use things like BeLive TV, but now you can just do it through the technology of Facebook. So it's a great way if you guys are interviewing people as guest experts or doing live streams with interviews. Get this as a part of your technology and part of your marketing proposal, really. So we've got some comments coming in. I'm going to be looking at my laptop to make sure that we're connecting with you. Say hi from the comments, and let us know, are you a speaker, author, or coach, or all three? Type that in the comments so we know who we've got watching and what your background is. And what we want to do is, first of all, we want to give a big shout out to Amanda Clark. You'll probably see some evidence of this, but at the weekend, Helena and I did a photo shoot. So for any of you here are looking for new headshots or shots for your website or promotional speaker brochures, we highly recommend Amanda. We'll put a link to her in the comments when we finished. But we had an awesome lot of fun.
So much fun. It was so much fun. And I can honestly say that the shots that we got were just superb. And there is something about, again, and I'll talk more about this in a moment, there's something about connecting with others and having fun and actually making it easy that allows you, hi Dilys, hi Sandra, and Alison too, there's something absolutely amazing about connecting to others whilst you're having a photo shoot, which I haven't experienced before. I've only ever done the thing where there's me and the photographer, and whilst that's based on a relationship and a connection, actually doing it with two other people was really good fun. And I think the quality of the photos that we got, which I'm sure you'll see in time, was just superb, and I know it made a difference, as did Amanda, because she's just amazing at making you feel incredible. Hey,
so what we want to cover today is we want to cover really the three main things of looking at connection from different ways, right? So we want to know from what you want to get out of the connection, what others are saying about you, and also how to be interesting when you're in a networking situation. So I think what you're seeing in the group is what we're loving is people are accepting our challenge. They're coming into the group and they're doing their introduction, and I hope you're accepting and liking the feedback that we're giving you to actually hone your introduction to make it really impactful for your audience. And one of the key points when you do that is actually acknowledging that you know what you want. right? So when you know what you want from a connection, it's really easy to understand that you need to put that in your introduction, because most people are always about, oh, I'm going to talk about me, but then the other person at the other end doesn't actually know why you want to connect with them. So when you focus on what you want, the majority of us as speakers, authors and coaches, we're going to want more sales, right? So the ultimate introduction is going to want the outcome of a client, a sale, a gig, whatever it might be. So in your general introductions, think about the person that you're speaking to and how your introduction is going to entice, appeal, intrigue that person to want you as part of the outcome. And then the other thing is also to look at is sometimes when you're in a networking scenario, the outcome might be different. So the outcome might be that you want to connect with somebody to help you. So we wanted to connect with Amanda because we wanted headshots. You might want to connect with a web designer. I know that Tamar put up this morning in the group that she wants to connect with a book editor. So when you're actually looking for another outcome, then it's really good to work in your introduction to say, well, my book is about health and wellness, and I need an editor in 24 hours or whatever it might be. And actually, your introduction is more geared around what you're looking for then. So the point what I'm making here is the first thing is know what you want in the scenario and involve that in the introduction.
And I think there's something here about, I don't know about you, but even as you hear that, even as Kelly asked that question, I bet your mind, part of your mind went off going, I can do that. I can connect you to that person. Because actually, part of being a human being is actually our desire to serve, support, connect, and actually be useful and helpful to people. So as soon as you ask for something, people respond with a, oh, hang on, I can get involved with this, rather than just being an audience to your words. And that makes a massive difference. Hi to Rosaline, and hi to Charlotte. I love that Charlotte's saying hurrah. That's obviously cause for celebration just because. So I think there is something about you, when you're doing whatever the 60 seconds are, consider who are the audience that are actually in this crowd. And also, there is this piece around, you might know, apparently the average person knows 256 people. Who knew that? But apparently so. But if that's what the average person knows, and you know that many people, then the person that you're speaking to isn't one person, they're actually 256 someones. And that's pretty massive in itself.
And I think Helena talks about this quite a lot in her framework of what you're known for, as seen as. But another thing to consider is actually, what are people saying about you when you're not in the room, right? It's a really interesting question. And sometimes, I know, Dilys, you did this in your Facebook group. You ask for people to give you feedback on your character, how you came across. And it's really insightful, guys, to do some market research about this. Because when you do your 60-second pitches and the feedback that we've got, if somebody else had to then go and describe you to their friends, they're not going to remember all of those bits, right? So what are the memorable words that you want them to actually, what's the key words you want to tell people about? And they might go, oh, she's everyone describes Helena as the huggy, caring, big picture thinking person. And those 3 key words, she loves to be described at, and it's really easy for people to understand what she does.
Yeah.
And it's also about your character, right? So it's not just about, oh, I'm a web designer, or I'm a coach, or I'm this. It's how you do your job, because a lot of people are Marmite. If you're a real straight talking, I'm not going to beat around the bush, some people don't like that, right? So they might not warm to that personality. So think about what people are saying about you when you're in the room. And I know, Helena, you've got that story that you told me a while about the conference that you're at. Do you want to tell people about an example?
I will, because I'm actually going to address, Brett said, how do you do a 60 seconds without it sounding like BS? And actually, I think this might help you, Brett. So part of it for me is so first things first, I'm going to follow on with I set Rosaline the challenge that you set Dilys, which is to ask the community. Right. And she simply asked for 3 words that came back from people. And I can honestly say, and you guys can have a conversation with her in the group at some point, it was one of the most enlightening and amazing things to hear how other people see you and how you show up. And so, Brett, I'm going to use that comment and this story to say, how do you do a 60 seconds? Some of it is about what you actually want to be known for and seen as in the words of others. So some of it is about you connecting, back to connections, connecting to you and what you, who you be, who you are, but then also connecting to what is it that I actually want to gift. Because most of the sort of the BS sounding type of introductions are the ones that are about me, as Kelly was just saying. But they're also ones where you're constantly asking for something rather than simply saying, hey, listen, here's what I do and what I find exciting in the world. More on that in a moment. But here's what I do and what I find exciting in the world. So when I very first started this journey of being an entrepreneurial spirit, my first company was called Workshops That Work. And I still do a whole bunch of stuff underneath that banner. And the less than 60 seconds was, I take the brilliance out of your head, I put it in a shape and a structure, and I help you be easy to learn from. Now you can imagine my arms are stretched wide, so it kind of, it's almost a mime that actually goes, I take the brilliance out of your head, I put it in a shape and a structure, and I help you be easy to learn from. So that's fairly simple and easy to remember. Now for those people who've then experienced you doing that, so Brett, tell them what you actually do and how you do it. You know, that actually kind of lands home, and there's an authenticity to the message that you have. Now, the reason this is important is because I was at this conference of about 400 people or so, and it was one of the breaks, and I was stood by a cocktail table, much as the same as this, actually, apart from, you know, there were people buzzing around and everything. And suddenly I was talking to somebody, and somebody else came up and went, excuse me, are you the lady that takes the brilliance out of my head and makes me easy to learn from? At which point I sort of did the, excuse me, pardon? and she said, brilliance out of my head. I was like, yes, that would be me. I am that person. So we started chatting, and that was really amazing. And then about, I don't know, 7 minutes later or so, another person comes up to me and says, hello, are you the person that takes the brilliance out of my head and shapes it and, you know, makes it work? I'm like, yep, that'll be me. And in the meanwhile, at the back of me, I'm sort of stood there going, who is working on my behalf? Who in this room? Who have I said hello to or good morning to this morning? That I've reminded them of the connection of me. I've reminded them of, you know, who I be. And eventually I found Tabitha 4 people later. 4 people came up to me at that break with those words or some semblance of those words. So I hope that's really useful for you in terms of what's the short, sharp, sweet version that actually they can take away from what you do and how you do it in a really short sentence. So feel free to make any comments that you have. I'm really happy to take any questions.
And I think it's also going back to your point, Brett, is that sometimes it's about asking questions, because when you're at networking events or you're talking to people, it's those people that verbal diarrhea over you and they don't come up for air, and that's not connecting, right? That's speaking at people. And when you actually get somebody involved in the conversation, say for example you were a chiropractor, you might open up your pitch with, well, you know, lots of people suffer from back pain. They might be sitting at their desk all day long. And I work with a lot of people that, you know, always got back pain or referred pain in their heads or in their arms, etc. And I help people in a natural way overcome that. And so it's like that sort of natural conversation rather than verbal diarrheaing at people is a way to build up a great connection with people. And I think that comes on to the third point that we said that we were going to cover, which is actually about being interesting, right? And I learned this when I worked with a speaker trainer called Clinton Swain. Some of you, he used to tell you that, you know, we get asked this question all the time by our clients when we're in networking meetings. So what have you been up to? And the standard response, especially British people, is just like, yeah, you know, just bobbing along, everything's going well, we've got a lot going on. But it doesn't actually give anyone context or a point to have a conversation around it.
No.
Well, I encourage all of my clients something called What's the Buzz, right? Think about what's going on in your business, preferably, or your life that's got some buzz around it. right? Is it the fact that you're just about to launch your new website? Is it the fact that your book's gone to the final draft to be edited? Something which you can actually say when someone says what's going on in your world, you've got something around context about what you do that can actually either spark ideas off of who they need to refer to you, or actually just give you more credibility that you are a living embodiment of your work. You are living and breathing it every day, and you're having fun, and there's things going on in your life, right? So I think what's the buzz is a really good thing to have on your radar, so that you don't come across as this vanilla person that's just plodding along in their business. You are a game changer, you are making an impact, and you're doing something that's going to interest people to come on board your bus.
Yeah, and Brett, again, I'm sort of, you know, just picking up the whole formulaic thing. Ryan's saying speak from the heart, you know, it helps, that he finds that, and that's definitely true. I think there's something about telling your story in terms of the what's the buzz. So what is the thing that you did? What is the thing that you, if you were around on Friday and you did some celebration, your Friday feeling, what was the buzz around that? What could you say that you've just done? So right now, for Kelly and I, we've almost got such a lot of buzz. Like, we've done the photo shoot, that was a buzz. We've launched this, that was a buzz. We've got 140 people nearly in the group within a week. That feels like a buzz. But most importantly, what's really feeling like a buzz is ensuring that, like, there are so many people connecting to other people. What I'm really loving seeing in the group at the moment is people who didn't know other people are talking to the people that they might need. That's like, that for me is the buzz. So Brett, there's something about what you can actually say that's going on for you in the business that's current and present. A little bit like picking up, you know, what's in the news, preferably the good news, not all of the stuff that's kind of happening. But how do you take something like that and go, wow, did you see this thing? What we did with that was this. You know, or I'm actually really excited because I saw what was happening and I went and did this. Now I'm making up this. You can insert your own words, but that might be part of the buzz for you, because actually we like to celebrate with other people. Particularly, I find, so I don't know how many of you know, I'm Danish. That's obviously why I'm heading back to Denmark in a moment. But part of that whole, the British reticence that kind of comes in around, oh, I can't possibly tell you what I'm doing and everything. And yet most of us love to celebrate what other people are doing. So my encouragement would be, personalize what you're actually up to, and think before you go to that networking place, think about, what is it that I would love to share that is exciting and inspiring to me, either out in the world or that's happening in my business that I would love to sort of, so that you become interesting and you have something interesting to say. So that you're interacting with who you be and what's happening around you that you could share that might be a contribution. I wrote in the feed earlier, what gift can you be? That might also be a really, really great place to come from. I hope that all helps.
And I think really, in summary, what we're wanting you to do is actually look at a triangle of connections, right? So we'll explain a little bit more. I know we've touched on this, but the connection, when you're talking about connection, right, is this triangle. It's the connection to yourself, right? So we'll talk about, well, there's various ways you can do that. Helena and I are very different. So if I was going to connect with myself, it would be like literally whacking the music on, feeling that energy, singing, hopefully nobody's around because I can sing like a drowned cat, but singing my heart out, but raising my frequency, right, so that I can actually feel energized for the day and I feel connected. Some other people find that that connection is going into that calm space, that meditative state, really getting clear and focused on their intentions and their objectives for the day. But the most thing is, when you're going to connect with somebody, be present, be energized, feel connected to yourself before you start connecting to others.
Yeah.
Then you want to work out, how do I connect with others? And the way that you do that is your clarity of your message, you're knowing your outcome, knowing what you want from that connection, and know what you're going to give to people in the connection. So there's a two-way thing, a conversation that we were talking about. And then work out, how are others going to connect to you? Just like in Helena's scenario, people were working the room on her behalf because they were really clear what she could offer. And then they were going back saying, well, you need to connect with Helena. So how do you show up to other people? How do you stay in their minds? What's the memory that they take away and go, you need to connect with her because of this or because of this? But as an exercise from this, be really clear on the triangle connections, what are you doing? What do you need to work on most to make your connections really valuable?
Yeah, and honestly, please do share for those of you that are in the group, and I'm sure Kelly will be really efficient and put the link to the group below this and everything else as I'm tackling the people at the passport bit, as you do. But so post in there. What do you do to get connected with yourself so that you show up as the best you wherever you're showing up? So if that means you're going on stage, if that means that you're nervously, introvertedly, for those of you who are kind of sitting there going, yeah, that's all well and good for those extroverty people. This works for all of us. This works for all of us because actually what I think unites most of the people from what I'm reading in the introductions, what unites most of the people inside the Connection Hub is that ethical desire to share a message and to grow people and to really kind of, make the world a better place, for want of a cliche. And I think some of that will then allow you to connect to the purpose that you have and go, so how can I be of service to this person? I'm kind of veering into some territory around Jo Simpson, who is someone I'll introduce you all to at some point, because the triangle is very much based around some of the values work that she does. So how do you connect to you? How do you do it? What's your recipe for you? Kelly likes to sing. Me, I just have to smile at another person and like the serotonin inside of me goes zing, which is amazing. For you, it might well be reading a favorite poem or thinking about your nan or whatever it is. So once you've got that connection, then it's about extending yourself out and saying, okay, so how can I best connect to others? So that might be about you getting some of the feedback on your 60 seconds or the conversation that you're about to have, or thinking about what's the buzz in some kind of way. And that little third piece around, others to you, it's kind of like a little piece of magic. If you show up in the first two ways, connected to you and connecting to others, I promise you, you might even start to find that a whole new level of connection start to come in. Play with it. That's my invitation.
And I completely agree with Brett, who's saying that he exercises to get connected. I think it's a real good way for a lot of people because it just gets everything moving, right? And it raises your frequency and it gets you ready and pumped for the day. So thanks for that, Brett. I think the best thing for us to do is carry on. If you haven't done your introductory post yet, whether that's a video, we've had Facebook Lives, we've had videos, we've had posts, whatever way you feel comfortable in doing it, get it in there so that people can connect with you. And if you want us to accept us on the challenge, instead of giving you feedback, then just put challenge in there and we'll definitely give you some feedback on the post. But go back to the feed and look and see who's already posted. Look at what they've said. Is there any way that you guys can connect? And also look at the feedback, so you're learning from the feedback that we're giving other people about being really clear on the avatar, the outcome, the you in the message, and just make sure that you get that and involve that in your introduction as well. So we will put the link into the Connection Hub group if you're not part of it, so you can join and get that introductory feedback. And we'll be here every Tuesday at 1 o'clock going forward on our Facebook Lives. We'll be doing polls in the group to find out exactly what topics you guys want to learn from us about, get experts in. But we're here to hold your hand to be successful and build a business on your terms. So you're a football coach. So thanks for all your comments, everyone. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. And if you're watching this on the rerun, please just put your comments in as well, and we'll get back to you. Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Helena.
Thank you. I'll speak to you from Denver.